The ancient secret modern men were never meant to find. What if the real reason you feel lost as a man is by design? What if modern society, your education, your relationships, even your role as a man, was built to disconnect you from your deepest power? You were taught to be nice, to be agreeable, to smile, to obey. But inside you feel it. Something is dying. Your fire, your edge, your purpose. Here's the truth they never wanted you to hear. The aim of life is not pleasure, but excellence. Aristotle. Over 2,000 years ago, Aristotle left behind a blueprint, not just for virtue, but for masculine greatness. A lost art, buried, ignored. Because a truly grounded, virtuous man is a threat to systems built on weakness. This isn't self-help, it's a revolt. A return to the original code, where discipline was sacred, virtue was armor, and manhood meant living for something greater than yourself. You were not born to be passive, you were born to be excellent. In this video, you'll rediscover the path to masculine flourishing through Aristotle's ancient teachings, the philosophy of kings, the training ground of warriors. And if you dare to listen until the end, you might never see yourself the same way again. The masculine paradox. Why modern men need Aristotle? Look around you. Men are breaking, not because they're weak, but because the world taught them to kill what made them strong. You played by the rules, worked hard, stayed loyal, kept your emotions in check. And what did you get? Burnout, betrayal, emptiness you can't talk to anyone about. You're not alone. Across the world, men from 25 to 50 are waking up in silent panic, trapped in jobs they hate, marriages that feel like prison, scrolling through social media to feel something, anything. And yet the culture's only answer? Try yoga, be more emotionally available. Buy this course, be a nice guy. But inside you know, this is not what you were made for. The ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation. Aristotle. Aristotle understood something modern society refuses to admit, that masculinity without virtue becomes chaos, but masculinity without purpose becomes depression. He lived in a time when men were losing their way too, trading legacy for lust, discipline for comfort, strength for shallow pleasures. Sound familiar? But instead of surrendering, Aristotle offered a way forward. He didn't teach men to suppress their instincts. He taught them how to master them. He didn't preach blind emotion or cold stoicism. He called men to live with telos, a target, a reason to wake up on fire. Man is a goal-seeking animal. His life only has meaning if he is reaching out and striving for his goals. That's what's missing today. We have men who can bench 300 pounds but can't hold a boundary. Men who climb corporate ladders but can't look themselves in the mirror. Men with girlfriends, wives, kids, but no inner compass. This is the masculine paradox of our time. We've never had more freedom, yet we've never felt more directionless. We can sleep with anyone, but can't connect with ourselves. We can say anything, but don't know what we believe. And that's why Aristotle matters more now than ever. Because he didn't give men empty motivation, he gave them a framework, a moral architecture, to rebuild from the inside out. Not performative masculinity, not hollow dominance, but a man forged through action, choice, and virtue. This isn't about becoming a philosopher. It's about becoming someone your younger self would respect and your future self would thank. In the next part, we'll uncover Aristotle's idea of eudaimonia. Not happiness, not pleasure, but something deeper. A life where every part of you, your body, your mind, your soul, is aligned with your highest self. If you're tired of drifting, then don't miss what comes next. Unearthing the virtue of eudaimonia. Why feeling happy is killing the modern man. Let's be brutally honest. You don't need more pleasure. You've had it. Fast food, fast sex, fast dopamine. But after the scrolls, the drinks, the distractions, something still feels hollow, doesn't it? Because deep down, you weren't born for comfort. You were born to build, to lead, to become. And this is where most men fall. They confuse feeling good with being fulfilled. Happiness belongs to the self-sufficient, Aristotle. Aristotle didn't chase happiness like a thrill. He hunted something far greater. He called it Eudaimonia. Not pleasure, not luxury, but flourishing. A life so aligned with virtue, strength, and purpose that even suffering becomes meaningful. Eudaimonia isn't a mood, it's a way of being. It's the feeling you get when your thoughts, your actions, and your values are moving in the same direction, toward greatness. And here's what nobody tells you. Most men today are depressed not because they're broken, but because they're bored, not challenged, not called, not initiated into a life of significance. You go to work, you smile, you nod, but you haven't felt fully alive in years. Why? Because deep fulfillment never comes from ease. It comes from inner alignment. The good for man is not a state, but an activity, in accordance with excellence. Aristotle's Eudaimonia is earned through discipline, courage, honesty, and daily action. It's not a dopamine spike, it's a fire, a silent intensity that grows every time you make the hard choice over the easy one. It's when you look in the mirror and for once feel respect for the man staring back. Here's the brutal truth. No woman, no job, no status can make you feel like a man until you start acting like one. And acting like one means living with virtue. Aristotle didn't promise ease. He promised transformation. Because when you stop chasing feeling good and start living to become good, that's when you unlock the masculine soul's deepest craving, honor. In the next part, I'll show you the 3 ancient virtues Aristotle gave to men and why mastering them in today's chaotic world will make you unstoppable, grounded, and impossible to manipulate. Eudaimonia is not just a destination, it's the battlefield, and virtue is your sword. The pillars of power, 3 ancient virtues that forge the unbreakable man. So now you understand, you don't need more motivation. You need a foundation. You need something solid beneath your feet, something deeper than hustle culture, deeper than red pill advice, deeper than just be confident. And that something is virtue. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. Aristotle, let's rebuild your soul from the ground up. 1. Courage, the discipline of fearlessness. Greek, Andrea. Courage isn't about charging into danger blindly. It's about standing firm when everything inside you screams, run. Modern life tests you daily. Do you speak your truth when it might offend? Do you set boundaries when people try to cross you? Do you stay grounded when chaos erupts? Aristotle called courage the first virtue, because without it, the others collapse. You will never do anything in this world without courage. Most men today aren't cowards. They're just conditioned to avoid conflict, avoid truth, avoid responsibility. But courage is the antidote, and it doesn't scream, it stands still. 2. Temperance, the strength of self-mastery. Greek, sophrison. You know what really destroys men? Not failure, but impulse. One more drink, one more scroll, one more hit, one more woman you don't respect. And suddenly, a decade's gone. Temperance isn't about restriction, it's about power. What it lies in our power to do, it lies in our power not to do. The man who masters his desires isn't empty. He's dangerous, because nothing owns him. While other men are slaves to pleasure, he walks with fire in his chest, free, focused, lethal. 3. Practical wisdom, the art of right action, Greek, phronesis. In a world of endless opinions and fake gurus, what you need is clarity, not intelligence, wisdom, the ability to judge rightly, when to speak, when to act, when to wait. Aristotle didn't admire men who knew much. He admired men who could act rightly in a complex world. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. You don't need more information. You need to see through noise, to act with precision. Wisdom isn't sexy, but it's the difference between a man who reacts and a man who leads. These three virtues, courage, temperance, wisdom, they're not concepts. They're the muscles of the soul. You build them through repetition, through choices no one sees, and eventually, you become unshakable. In the next part, we'll take all this and bring it to life. How to reclaim your true legacy as a man of virtue, direction, and power in the modern world. Because it's not enough to understand. You must embody. The path to excellence, from habit to destiny. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And with that, he shattered the illusion that greatness is a gift. It's not. It's a grind. Most modern men are waiting for clarity before they act, waiting for the perfect motivation, the ideal mindset. But the truth is, virtue is not discovered in thought. It is revealed through motion. You become brave by doing brave things. You become disciplined by enduring discomfort. You become wise not by reading ancient texts, but by living their truth, especially when it's hardest to do so. We live in a time addicted to information, but allergic to transformation. A man scrolls through Stoic quotes at midnight, but wakes up and hits snooze. He nods to Aristotle's golden mean, but loses his temper when challenged. He praises self-mastery, yet still lets lust, fear, or vanity puppeteer his choices. Why? Because while knowledge is easy to consume, habit is forged in fire. Every single day, life presents you with a forge. You'll face decisions between ease and effort, impulse and integrity, pleasure and purpose. And in these micro moments, your future is being shaped. It's not about heroic acts of sacrifice once in a while. It's about choosing the hard right over the easy wrong, again and again, until it becomes second nature. This is how the Aristotelian man is built. By tracking his vices, not just reciting virtues. By scheduling discipline, not waiting for inspiration. By reflecting nightly, did I act with courage, with justice, with temperance, with wisdom? Even Aristotle believed virtue requires training, correction, and repetition, not just noble intent. So if you feel resistance, good. That's the exact material from which character is carved. Modern distractions will try to dilute your attention. Temptations will try to hijack your path. But excellence is a war fought one decision at a time. Start small. Wake up when you said you would. Say no when it's hard. Speak truth when it shakes you. Walk toward what you fear. Let action be your prayer. Let habit be your identity. Let every day become a small sculpture in the statue of your highest self. Because as Aristotle reminds us, the soul never thinks without a picture. What picture are your daily actions painting? Reclaiming your legacy. Become the Aristotelian man. Picture this. You wake up, not with anxiety, not with dread, but with direction. You look in the mirror and see not a boy reacting to life, but a man shaping it. Because now, your virtues aren't just words, they're lived. They guide your relationships. They sharpen your decisions. They infuse your life with purpose. Aristotle's vision wasn't about creating saints. It was about sculpting humans into their highest form through balance, discipline, and rational pursuit of the good life. The man who embodies these virtues doesn't just attract admiration. He becomes a pillar of stability in a chaotic world. Women trust him, men respect him, children model him, and deep down, he respects himself. This is not about being perfect. It's about being deliberate. The good for man, Aristotle wrote, is an activity of the soul in accordance with virtue. In other words, to be fully alive is to live with integrity, to act with purpose, to strive for harmony between what you believe and how you behave. You don't need to fit a mold. You don't need to fake masculinity. You don't need to mimic another man's success. You are called to forge your own path, to master yourself, not others, to walk a road not of pleasure, but of meaning. And when you do, when you embody temperance in temptation, courage in uncertainty, wisdom in noise, and justice in power, you're not just becoming a better man, you're restoring a legacy modern men have forgotten, but one that history will remember. So ask yourself, are you living by preference or by principle, by comfort or by conviction? Because every moment you wait is a moment you trade your potential for convenience. Start today. Choose one virtue, build one habit, confront one weakness, take one step. You don't need perfection to begin, just the courage to act, the humility to fail, and the resolve to rise. And as Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So know this, the Aristotelian man isn't a myth. He is who you become when you stop consuming virtue and start living it.